What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the specs of the Google Nexus 5, which is from LG, to the Samsung Galaxy S4. Now the Nexus 5 has just been officially announced today, but there's been a huge amount of leaks in the past few months to the point where it's actually becoming annoying, and I was thinking Google just announced it already, and they have done that today, and it's been a quiet launch. They didn't advertise it previously. But we've got the official specs now of the Nexus 5, and how does it compare to the most popular Android smartphone of 2013 so far, the Samsung Galaxy S4. You can see a full hands-on review of the Samsung Galaxy S4 in the description below. A link will be there if you do want to go ahead and check that out. So what are the key differences between these two devices? Well, do hit that thumbs up button and let's find out in this head-to-head spec comparison. So we'll start off initially with the screen size. Pretty much the same screen size. You've got a 5-inch screen versus a 4.95-inch screen on the Nexus 5. Practically the same, just a fraction. You are going to be rounding it off to 5 inches really. In terms of the resolution as well, you've got the same resolution, 1920 by 1080, full HD on both of these devices, which is great to see that full HD experience. You've got a slight difference in terms of PPI, 441 versus 445. Reason being is because of the slightly different screen sizes, but nothing noticeable in terms of PPI, practically the same here again. Now in terms of the physical dimensions, they are both very similar. The Nexus 5 is slightly larger in terms of height, 1.3mm, and also in terms of the thickness, 1.3mm in terms of thickness as well. In terms of width, it is slightly smaller than the S4, 0.6mm smaller in terms of width. But once again, very similar in terms of the size as well. The weight is the same, 130 grams on both of these devices. So in terms of the actual physical size and dimensions on the screens, you're not going to be noticing much of a difference between these two devices. You've got some differences in terms of the build. Both of these are plastic. However, the Samsung Galaxy S4 has that hyperglaze finish plastic, which not a lot of people like. It is a little bit slippery, but the Nexus 5 comes with the soft touch plastic, and it's similar to the Nexus 7, which we've got here. It's quite a nice grippy material on here, and it's got a silky finish, as they put it, and I do actually quite like it. It does feel quite nice and premium. Now the main differences between these two devices come in the internals. The Samsung Galaxy S4 has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 processor, and that's a 1.9 GHz quad core. You've also got an Exynos octa core version, which has the 4 at 1.6 and the other 4 at 1.2, and the Adreno 320 GPU. Now if you compare that to the Google Nexus 5, you've got some newer internals here. You've got the Snapdragon 800 processor, and that's 2.3 GHz quad core. So you've got higher specs on here. The GPU as well is the Adreno 330 compared to the 320. Now because the Nexus 5 is a new device, it's been about 6 months since the Samsung Galaxy S4 release, you do have some better internals here. In terms of benchmarks and things, that's going to be nice to see. Once we've got these devices in hands-on, we can compare these side by side. You've got 2 gigs of RAM on both of these devices, great for multitasking, and it's quite general as well these days. You're seeing 2 gigabytes of RAM on most Android devices out there, most of the top-end Android devices out there. In terms of the storage options, you've got the 16 and the 32 on the Nexus 5. On the Samsung Galaxy S4, you've got the 16, 32 and 64GB versions. Now the big difference here is that the Samsung Galaxy S4 does have expandable storage. Micro SD up to 64GB on the Samsung Galaxy S4. You don't have expandable storage on the Nexus 5, and it's something we're seeing less of on lots of devices out there. We're not seeing that expandable storage, so that's an advantage that the Samsung Galaxy S4 has. You can expand the storage at a later point. Now looking at the cameras, the Samsung Galaxy S4 has a 13 megapixel camera. It's a really nice camera. You can check out lots of hands-on examples and comparisons on the channel versus the iPhone 5 and the Note 3 as well, so do go ahead and check those out. It's a very nice camera. The Nexus 5 on the other hand has an 8 megapixel camera. Now one of the key things and the key features on the Nexus 5 is that it has optical image stabilisation. So in terms of shaky shots and things, you're not going to have to worry too much about getting blurry images if you've not got that much of a steady hand. That optical image stabilisation is really nice to have. You've also got HDR plus mode as well. This is a new HDR mode, although the Samsung Galaxy S4 does have HDR mode as well. In terms of dynamic range, they're saying that the Nexus 5 has an additional feature which is going to be getting much higher dynamic range on your images. The Samsung Galaxy S4 comes with lots of features of its own. You've got sound in shot, drama shot, dual camera where you can use both the front and rear facing cameras at the same time, which is quite nice to see and quite unique. We are going to have to see the cameras side by side to make a proper judgment, and there will be a side by side comparison as soon as we've got the Nexus 5 in-house in the usual style, so do stay tuned for that. In terms of the video, you've got 1080 1080p on both of these, which is pretty standard these days from the rear facing cameras. The front facing cameras, you've got a 2 megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy S4 versus a 1.3 megapixel camera on the Google Nexus 5, and it's 1080p versus 720p as well. So you've got high resolution on the Samsung Galaxy S4, so a slight advantage here for the Samsung Galaxy S4 again. Now looking at some additional features that both of these devices offer, the Samsung Galaxy S4 has the IR blaster, so you can control your television and other IR devices as well directly from your smartphone, which is quite nice. The Nexus 5 has wireless charging built in, which is once again very nice to see. This is not available on the Samsung Galaxy S4 out of the box anyway. I'm not sure if there's other accessories you can get to enable it to do that, such as some backplates or something, I don't know, but it does not come out the box with wireless charging. In terms of the operating systems, both of these have Android, but the Samsung Galaxy S4 has Android version 4.2.2. We are still waiting for the latest versions of Android, and it comes with the TouchWiz UI on top of the Android interface, so you're not getting that stock experience. Now with the Nexus 5, you've got a big advantage here. You're getting the stock Android experience, Android KitKat 4.4, the first device to ship with KitKat on the device, the latest version of Android, and that's a big advantage that you're going to have all around on the Nexus 5. You're going to be getting the latest updates directly from Google. You're not going to have to wait around for Samsung to give you it, or LG to give you the updates. With Samsung, you've got that problem of waiting for the updates. The Samsung Galaxy S4 still doesn't even have 4.3, let alone a KitKat 4.4, so we're not even sure when we're going to be getting 4.4. Having said that, TouchWiz does come with some advantages. You've got some additional features on here, such as Smart Scroll and Smart Pause. Some people may find them useful, some people might find them gimmicky. You've got Air View and Air Gesture as well. You can hover over certain elements and get previews and things like that, which is also quite nice. But as I did mention, the Nexus 5 does come with the latest version of Android, and you are going to be getting that stock Android experience. In terms of the features, we'll look at these hands-on as soon as we've got the device in hand. Now in terms of the batteries, you've got a 2600 mAh battery on the Samsung Galaxy S4. On the Nexus 5, you've got a 2300 mAh battery. The Nexus 5 battery is not removable. On the S4, you can remove the battery, so you can carry on the spare, or you can replace it altogether. Now in terms of the usage, we are going to have to see these hands-on, and this will be covered in the hands-on comparison when we do get the devices in hand, but quite large batteries on both of these devices. Now finally, looking at the price, the Samsung Galaxy S4 for the base 16GB model, you can pick it up for just under £400 in the UK, and that's for the unlocked version. That's not going to be on any contract, and in the US you're looking at just below $600. Now with the Nexus 5, they've done it once again. They've kept the price very low. You're looking at £299 in the UK for the 16GB version, or $349 in the US. So quite a budget phone with these high-end specs, which is once again very nice to see from Google. They've done this with the Nexus 7, they did it with the Nexus 4, and they've also done it with the Nexus 5. The Nexus 5 is coming in slightly higher compared to the Nexus 4, but with these specs at this price, I think it's completely justified to increase the price slightly. It's still a very budget phone with these high-end specs. So those are the key differences between these two devices. The Samsung Galaxy S4 is still doing well and is still a popular option for a lot of people out there, but the Nexus 5 comes in with some of those better internals, and it also comes in at that amazing price, and that's one key thing, that you're going to be getting the Nexus 5 cheaper than the Samsung Galaxy S4, even though the Samsung Galaxy S4 is about 6 months old. So that's definitely one thing to consider here on the Nexus 5, which is the price. So I guess it does come down to personal preference. Which one will you be going for? Which one do you think is better? Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, as always, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And as I did mention, I am going to be getting the Nexus 5 in for a full hands-on review and comparison with the Samsung Galaxy S4. It has been pre-ordered, so it will be coming through very soon. So if you do want to see that first and lots of other tech videos, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. If you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. Okay, if you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so no. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay. there isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.